Welcome to K-Drama School. I'm your host, Grace Jung, and class is now in session. I was given a request to cover the show Navillera back in August, and I'm only getting to it now, so I appreciate your patience with this. But today's show is Navillera. I am looking at this show because it's one of these additionally how should we categorize this kind of theme? Is it like a geriatrics kind of theme? That sounds too clinical. Is it like seniors? I mean, it's in that category of K-drama genre that I would say belongs to senior focused themes. Why can't I speak today? It's basically a show that where the protagonists are elderly people. And you do have a younger protagonist, but the main character is an elderly person, played by Park In-hwan. Park In-hwan is a very, very famous Korean celebrity. Of course, people who are younger and people who are not as familiar with Korean content for decades, he might not feel as significant to you, but he is a veteran television and film actor. And he's actually more known for television. Like, I've seen him all my life. I noticed that a lot of these shows tend to be focused on seniors with Alzheimer's and how that affects that individual, but of course also the family. And I just wonder, aren't there more than just Alzheimer's patients when it comes to the elderly? Like, aren't there other themes involved, like poverty, for instance? Poverty is a huge problem among senior citizens in South Korea. Another big issue is loneliness, isolation, neglect, abandonment. All of those things are major issues. In the case of Navillera, you have Park In-hwan playing this retired postal worker named Shim Deok-chul, and it's his 70th birthday. All the kids are there, his grown children, three of them, and they're celebrating his birthday, but they're also very self-absorbed, right? They all have their own problems going on, mostly motivated by their own greed, right? Except for maybe one person. That's Shin Deok-chul's youngest son, who used to be a surgeon, but now he's kind of pursuing filmmaking and just sort of figuring out his life. So, what I loved about this show is that you have this senior citizen who is a retiree, and he had a very humble career as a postal worker most of his life, but he also had this lifelong dream to pursue ballet. I mean, it's very, very specific and strange, honestly. I mean, how often do you hear grandpa say, I wanted to be a ballerina when I was younger, and now I'm going to do it at age 70? I mean, it's really bold. And I love this show because of that boldness. It's like absurd, right? I mean, when the kids find out about this, they all kind of lose their shit. They go crazy. They're like, they can't believe, right? Especially Deok-chul's eldest son, right? Sang-san. He's just like, it's weird, it's shameful, it's embarrassing to us, it's embarrassing to your grandchildren. Stop, right? And you know, at one point, Tokchar does give it up, right? Because his wife pleads with him. His wife is like, we couldn't offer our children anything. We just raised them in poverty all our lives, and now that they're older, the least we can do is just listen to their pleas, and guilt trips him into abandoning his dream, right? But he comes back to it. he comes back to it. And I really loved this show for that reason. There's this kind of a cloaked exploration of queerness here. Queerness, it can not only refer to non-heteronormative coupling or intimacy or, non-gender binary kinds of identities, but it can also point to uh things that fall outside the quote unquote social norm. Okay? Anything that is going against the grain of that society can be qualified as queerness, as I'm sure I've talked about on this podcast before. So even though Shim Duk-chul is a hetero cis man, and his sexuality is not in question here, the career path that he chooses, an artistic expression through dance, through performance art, that is not typical of of an elderly man in Korean society, right? So he's taking on a queer choice in this story world. And I really love this exploration. I love how dedicated and serious these artists are, right? Like, for instance, you have the kid, right? The Ichero played by Song Kang. You have him who's very, very dedicated to his career as a ballerino, but his poverty gets in the way of that, right? Like, he needs to support himself financially. He doesn't have the support of his family members. All of those things get in the way. And it was a very insightful sort of exploration on how the arts are quite oftentimes reserved for the financially privileged, right? Or for individuals who have a support system. But despite those odds, I loved how Cherok was pursuing this career. It also had some very real examinations of drug addiction or drug abuse as uh, performers or athletes, right? Because that's also real. Being a dedicated performer, it does take a toll on your body. That is also in there, which I thought, it was innovative in my opinion, because a lot of the times Korean dramas will steer very far away and very clear of anything related to drugs. But in this case, being addicted to painkillers, that's a real addiction. I mean, that is a real serious drug addiction, and it's definitely something that plagues many developed nations, including South Korea. Just look at the K-pop industry. A lot of those kids are on a lot of these kinds of um, painkillers, pain medications. I loved Namunhee and her character in this show too. Namunhee, you see her as the grandma in so many movies and TV shows, and I think she's a remarkable actress. She has such rawness. She just feels so real whenever I see her on screen. There's never an ounce of, you know, affected kinds of performance whenever I watch her on screen. She just feels like a real mother or a real grandmother or just like a real person. Like I love Namunhee's performances so much. And she plays this supportive wife. Initially she's very discouraging of Tokcho's pursuit in ballet, but she eventually comes around and tells him, if this is what you love and you got to do, then you got to do it, right? And I really loved her character. And of course, you have this whole heartbreak, right? Where Dokchul is losing his memory, right? So he has dementia, he has full on Alzheimer's, and the time is ticking. It's this ticking time bomb in his brain, and he keeps it a secret from his family members. And I think it's to preserve this dream goal in his mind as best he can. And it's somehow related to bringing back or restoring memory for him, right? Whenever he sees ballet or he performs ballet, he's able to come back to his self. So it's this really interesting exploration of psychology, of social quote unquote norms or the status quo. It's an exploration of issues that plague the elderly community. It's an existential kind of examination as well on life, right? And how opportunities and choices in careers have I don't know. In a way, they have become a little bit more diversified in modern Korean society, but in other ways, they remain the same, right? Because when Tokchul was a young boy, his father basically clocked him upside the head and said, if I ever catch you trying to pursue ballet, I'll beat the shit out of you." But then when Tokchul's older and they're in a whole new kind of time in life, period in life, Tokchul's children are too conservative to accept the fact that their father wants to pursue this as a career or even as a hobby. They can't accept that. There's an exploration of child abuse here. Today in modern Korean society, corporal punishment is absolutely illegal in schools, and that is where Chedok's father comes in, right? It's played by Cho Sung-ha, but Moo Young is the coach. He used to be a soccer coach at Chedok's school, but he was practicing corporal punishment when he was being a soccer when he was working as a soccer coach, and that caused severe trauma on some of the students. And you have a student, Yang Ho-bum, right, played by Kim Kwon. He's one of the victims of Chedok's father's abusive methods in coaching soccer. And you can see that this was a trauma for this young man. He has a lot of um, animosity towards the coach. He feels like the coach's abusive ways are the reasons why he is no longer able to pursue soccer today. But you also see that there are these limited beliefs that these characters have constructed over time, right? I mean, okay, yeah, there are pressures in society, there are abusers, and there are these monsters in your life, but you're no longer in that place. That's in the past. So who and what are you now in this present moment, in the safety and comfort of this stable existence that you're in? Are you able to get past those experiences and still pursue what it is that you want? And that's a question that we can all ask ourselves. I definitely had to ask myself that question today when I was revisiting, not revisiting, more like these flashbacks came back to me, resurfaced from my traumatic past. Another thing about this show is that it's only 12 episodes, and this is something that it's a pattern that I noticed with a lot of these elderly protagonist shows. Like in that other show, what was it? Light in my eyes, the light behind my eyes. It stars Kim Hye-ja, and she's basically an Alzheimer's patient in that show as well. And that was only 12 episodes too. And I don't know if it's because these elderly actors can't do 16 to 20 episode series, or if it's because the shows are just not as popular, so they limit it to a 12 episode miniseries. In any case, that's just a pattern I'm noticing. I don't know if it's significant or if it's meaningful in any which way yet, but I think there is something to be said about that. Today, I talked to my guest, Tim Murray. He's a comedian. He is based in Los Angeles. He was on the other two on HBO Max. He's also in the new film Swan Song, starring Jennifer Coolidge, which is in theaters. Tim is very, very funny. I really loved him. I think Tim is brilliant when it comes to improv comedy. He is very, very good at yes anding. He's very, very good at thinking on his feet. He's somebody I think is incredibly gifted and talented, and I adore him. He's also a great stand-up comedian. I know that he is he has an hour special that he's been touring, and I think he's going to be in Cleveland, Ohio sometime this holiday season. So you can find him there. You could look him up at timmurraycomedian.com and find all the information on tour dates there. Tim and I play tennis too. We played tennis once. I'd like to play him again, but playing tennis with him is an absolute joy because he's very good. He's very good at tennis. He's better than me. He beat me at tennis the last time we played, uh, and my whole body ached the next morning, and I needed a couple days to recuperate. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. Without further ado, let's talk to Tim Murray. I get it. It's all good.
Thank you so much. Yeah, sorry, it's my friend's birthday and we were playing tennis together and I
You play tennis?
Yeah, do you?
Yeah?
Grace, will you want to play?
We need to play tennis. Can we
Oh
please
my
play
god.
tennis?
Yes, please. I'm literally I'm like so obsessed. I'm trying to find people to play all the time. That would be so fun.
There are nobody like there are no people around me who play tennis. You know, there are people who say like, "Yeah, I play tennis," and then we get on the court and they're like, "Yeah, I played once in gym class." I'm like, "What? You don't fucking play tennis, bro."
Girl, you don't fucking play tennis? Don't be hitting it to the people next to me over here on this court. I'm trying to play.
Exactly.
What
That's
the hell? You
amazing.
don't play tennis? Wait, I'm so excited. I'm literally like,
Yeah.
I played growing up and then I didn't play for like 15 years. And then
Yeah.
I started playing during
Same.
the pandemic. Really?
Yeah. 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 I didn't play like in a really, really long time, but I played since elementary school. Elementary school, middle school, high school. Um, I'm not that great, but like I can hit a ball, you know? Like
Right.
I can hit a serve that lands, you know? Like I know the fucking rules and shit, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, this is
That's
so
all you need,
exciting.
baby. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I literally like every day I'm like, I wish my friends were more reliable so I could go play. But this friend who I played with this morning, he and I have been playing like 3 or 4 times a week.
Oh, intense.
I know, but
Yeah, that's good.
I'm still not great. My serves are getting really good, but it's still everything else is still bad.
No,
So
fit me in. I want to play. I want
let's
to
do.
play.
I would love. Wait, where do you live?
I'm in the valley. Yeah.
So close. I have the perfect spot for us too. It's in Glendale,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
and it's like overlooks the mountains, and there's never anybody there.
It sounds beautiful. Let's do it.
It's
It's
awesome.
perfect.
Okay, I'm so excited about this.
I'm down. I'm down. We're gonna do this. Oh my God, thank God. Every time I find somebody who says like, yeah, I play tennis, I'm just like, you know, I gotta hang on to them.
I see 100%.
That's good. I'm so happy that you're out there playing tennis, man.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
fun.
So that's what you were doing during the pandemic, huh? Like trying to get more active.
Okay, we could spin the narrative that way. Sure, we could say we could say that. Grace, I love the angle you're taking on this. Yeah. I definitely did not. I definitely gained, say with me, about 40 pounds in this pandemic.
Ooh, very
Maybe not during
nice.
the I probably started around 15 pounds when the pandemic was starting.
Okay. All
Like
right.
more than I realized when I was like, oh, that's way more than my resume says I weigh. And then, so I probably packed on a little over 20 during the
Okay.
pandemic.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds about average. Yeah.
yeah. And then, so no, I wasn't exactly getting active. The tennis, like 3 or 4 times a week thing has really started in the last month. I would say September.
Okay.
It's
Sweet.
September. I've really started getting at it
The fall's the best time, you know?
because it was too hot there for a minute.
No, no, no. I can't do it. Cannot. You know what I do is I'll sometimes just go to the wall because there's like a tennis wall in Sherman Oaks. So I just go there and I'll just like hit the wall for like an hour and it'll be satisfying, just as satisfying. Yeah.
Wait, you've got to give me the location of this because I'm not kidding. I've been going, Grace. I went and served by myself at a court recently because I just wanted to play so bad, and it was so tragic and
That's
so sad.
heartbreaking.
It was
Yeah.
sad.
But I
I feel like
understand.
you get it. There were all these
I
like
understand.
60, 70-year-old people looking at me like,
Yeah, no, no, no. I get it.
look at that sad kid with no friends. And then these older, like really super nerdy IT guys came up to me and they were like, hey, how long are you going to be? And I was like, you can have the court. It's fine. And they were like, do you want to play with us? We could do like Australian, Canadian tennis or
Yeah.
whatever with like 2-on-1. I was like,
Hmm.
yes. And so I played with
That's
strangers.
so
And that was,
fun.
I felt like a kid. I felt like a kid, like
Yes.
playing with other random kids at the
Yeah, they're like,
playground.
come play with us. That was nice of those IT people.
It was so nice. I loved them so much. They were
Yeah.
so sweet. And they were older. They were just like very
Oh,
sweet. Yeah.
that is so, I love that story. Yeah. No, you
Mhm.
know, like when I'm playing at the wall, um, my,
At the
my, the
wall.
wall, you know, at the wall,
At the
Sherman
wall.
Oaks, there are just, you know, these fucking pushy ass bitches who are standing there going like, how long are you gonna be? Like, when are you gonna get off? I'm like, I just got here. And they're just like, yeah, but like what time? You know, I'm like, oh my God, like just fucking give me a minute.
Give
You
me a
know,
minute.
give me a fucking minute. It's always like women too, you know, like the women are the ones that like really want to know, like, what time did you get here? What time are you gonna get off? Like, and they'll be like, I got here first. So when you're done, make sure you see me. I'm like, I'm not gonna, no, I'm not doing any of that shit. I got here when I felt like coming here. I got the wall now. I'm gonna leave when I feel like it, and I don't want to see you at all. Like,
What is
it's
that? You're
just
right. It's so gendered. And I would say
oh
that same thing happens only with men at the gym. Only men are coming up to you at the weights being like, how much oil you got? I'm like, can you fucking relax? Go use a different machine. And when I'm
exactly.
done, this will be open.
Exactly, because that's the thing. It's like we're at a park, we're at a gym. There are many equipments, there are many activities. Like, do something different. Get your focus on, off this for a while, and
Go
then come
stretch,
back.
babe. Go stretch
Go
and come back, babe.
stretch,
That's what I
stretch your
say to the
fucking.
people crowding me at the courts. Go stretch and come back, babe. Go
When you're
on.
done stretching in your back, these will be free. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Exactly. Also, it drives me nuts. This family came in today when we were finishing up. We were like going really head to head. We weren't sure who was going to win. And
yeah.
Grace, there were, I'm not kidding, six open courts. Six open courts. And they're like, yeah, we have this one. It's 10 a.m. We have this one. And they made us move over to the other one. I was like, can you just let us finish our game and you go use the one that's open? I would never do that to somebody. I would just go
Yeah,
use the open one. And then if
right.
someone was going to kick me off, then I would be like, hey guys, sorry, like this is actually our court. But
Exactly.
to be like, when there's all these open court sections,
What is that?
have we learned nothing from this pandemic? God.
We haven't. I don't think we have. Like, I mean, the truth of the matter is, like, we all did change during the pandemic, like you gained 40 pounds, like, you changed in that way.
Yes.
But we all like got real introspective and like we went inside and blah, blah, blah. We did all that shit, but we come back out in the world and, old habits, they just come right back like that instantly. It's astounding.
It is.
It's just the way of being human. And, I get it. Like, what it is, it's not the people's fault technically. It's the system's fault, right? Like when you were
Mm.
saying that the court was reserved, is it like, you go online, you pay $12 and you reserve the court? Is it like, are they talking about that? Like court number one, court number two?
Yes. Yes, they
Okay,
are.
see, so it's the fucking system's fault if you think about it. Because if we didn't have that stupid ass system, then we wouldn't have these stupid ass petty fights over what number, what time, blah, blah, blah. If the fucking park where where our tax dollars go to, didn't charge us fucking $12 to reserve and pay and all this bullshit, if people could just show up and just play and just go, right? If it was just open to the public like that, then we wouldn't have these petty ass stupid fucking fights, right?
Fucking capitalism. You're so right.
You're
I'm
so
feeling the heat from
yeah.
you on this. You're so
I
right.
I hate the fucking why is it like that? It's like this is such an LA thing too. Cause like, in New York and Jersey, like I never dealt with this court reservation system online. It was literally like, oh, you show up at the park, you watch some people play, and you wait, and then you just go and hit balls like when they're done. That's how it was. And
In Ohio, courts on courts on courts, just empty courts for free as far as the eye could see. I mean, truly, it's like this
yeah.
is a very LA thing. But in New York City, honey, I
hmm
lived there for 7 years. You couldn't find
Yeah.
yourself a court. Couldn't find a
Okay.
court.
Yeah, that's true. No, I guess I'm talking more about Jersey. I would go to the parks in Jersey and play with my friends there. And Jersey folk, they were pretty peaceful about it. They were chill about it. Yeah.
That's not something you often hear about Jersey folk. That they're chill. They're peaceful and chill. That's not the
They're not.
stereotype I would say about
Yeah.
Jersey folk.
It's like it depends, right? It depends like with everything. New York people are not
Mhm.
chill either, but in some aspects they're very chill, Like,
That is a very good. That's very
right?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it depends. Like LA people, they're not chill, but with certain things they're like way chill. Like yeah. So I'm like, okay, it just really depends on what flares up our egos at what time and in what circumstance. Like, when's the last time that like your ego got flared up and you had to kind of take a moment and be like, all right, Tim, what's happening here?
Like every 30 seconds. Let's
That's
see here.
real.
How much do I want to
hmm
reveal about
Yeah,
myself and my
it could be small.
flaws? I would say literally playing tennis. Like I get so mad when I don't do well. I get so
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
I don't like slam the racket or anything. I'm not like toxic mask insane, like John McEnroe or something, like breaking my racket in half. I play with my straight brother, and he was
Yeah.
literally, he's
Yeah.
5 years older than me, so he beat me at
Yeah.
every sport always growing
Right.
up. He would
Oh, wow.
dunk on me in basketball, and it was horrible.
Just to
Like,
emasculate you. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then I played tennis with him last time I was home a couple months ago. And Grace, you should have seen this grown man, this almost 40-year-old man, throwing his racket at the fence. And I was dunking on him, and I was not letting go. I
Yeah.
was like, these are for all the years
Mm-hmm.
that you beat me at basketball. And I was
Yes.
just slamming the
Yeah.
ball in his face. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the man was throwing his racket like it was a ring toss,
Oh,
just like it was a
goodness.
horseshoe ring toss. I was like,
Oh,
stop
boy.
throwing that racket.
Yeah.
Get a grip.
Yeah.
Literally,
Literally get a grip.
grip that racket harder. Don't throw it. Literally, get a grip.
Yeah. Rackets cost money. You don't want to smash that shit, you know? Like, come on. It's
Very
silly.
expensive.
They
Stupid.
are. You know, I get it. Like, I guess what it is it's disappointment in the self, right? Ultimately, that's what that is. Yeah.
Yeah, and probably like roots back to our childhood of how we
Mm,
felt like we were a disappointment to our parents or
yeah.
something. Like you really,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't get enough validation or whatever that you were
No.
looking for, and then you're
Mm-hmm.
still holding on to that.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm,
It's like what is it? You know, kids don't really care like when there is no reward or punishment, right? Like that's something children learn through reinforcement. And over time, like parents will be like, all right, like you're doing great. And the kids like feel good. And then they're like, okay, you suck now. Now you suck. Now you're sucking ass. You're fucking shit up on that court. You suck. I'm gonna disown you. I hate you. Like they're not saying that, but in a way they're kind of saying like that's what the
yeah,
kids take in, right? And it's like survival mode. Kids just have like basic survival mode. It's just literally like kids are wired like they just want to live. They just don't want to die, right? So that's how it gets. And then it's like all right, like if I want to get mother's love, I have to kick ass. And if I'm not kicking ass, then they're gonna fucking not pay attention to me. So let me go
mm,
and bust my racket and scream, and now she's gonna attend to me. And so that also gets reinforced too. The anger response, the that tantrum response, that also kind of gets reinforced too. So yeah, it's ultimately it is their fault. It's their fault, I guess. It's
it
their
is.
fault.
Like everything is about trying to get parental love. Like your whole fucking life is like. I'm
I
listening to a
know.
lot of Oprah right now, and it's just like it always comes back to that. It's always
I
that.
know.
She was like interviewing this like relationship therapist, and he was like talking to these couples who were like on the brink of breaking up, and then he
Mm.
did this work with them where they were like, what if you talk to your partner like they were your parent, and you're pretend you're
Oh,
a little
wow.
kid, and like what are you really mad about? And then it
Right.
always came back to that. It was always like, you were so controlling, you didn't let me
Mm.
play with other kids growing up, you made me stay inside all the time. And sure enough, this dude was like projecting that onto his poor wife, who was like, I'm just trying to chill and live my life. And
Right.
you are acting like I'm like crazy controlling, and I'm not. And he's like,
Right.
oh my God, you're right. I'm like, any little thing that you do triggers me to like my parents, like not letting me do whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I wonder if Oprah had a good childhood.
I wonder too.
I
How
don't
did
think
she
she
become
did.
like, I don't think she did either.
She didn't. I'm sure she has like a lot of trauma. I do know that before she got her talk show, she was like a drug addict and shit. Like she was a huge mess. I don't know what happened, but she had a fucked up life.
Grace, are you making that
I'm
up?
not.
I've never
I
heard
was
that in
just
my
like,
life.
cause like this was like a while ago, and I was just like, what's with Oprah? Like, what's her life, you know? And I was just kind of reading shit, and like she used to go on benders, like she was like all a big fuck up, and then she kind of was trying to turn her life around and read stuff, got therapy, da da da, and then that's when she started doing the talk show thing, you know?
Dan, how do we get there? How do we do that? How do you go from fucked up life to read stuff,
I don't
did
know.
therapy, and now have a talk
I know,
show?
and become a billionaire overnight. I don't
I
know.
mean, seriously, that
Get
woman
your
really has it together.
She is, yeah, yeah.
She really got it together there.
I do have a joke though where I call Oprah a white supremacist and everybody loves it. That's why she made it. That's why, okay? It's because she's a fucking white supremacist. That's why she made it, okay?
That is so fucking funny. You're
It's
so
true.
funny.
I think you're funny. What are you
I
kidding me?
love I love looking at your stuff online. God, I want to. Are you doing a lot of stand up lately? Looks
Yeah,
like
I
you are.
mean, yeah. Because I'm
I'm gonna
I'm
come
I'm
see you.
stand up. I'm like pure stand up. Like I wish I was more like you, you know? Like I love your memes first of all. They fucking kill me. Like they
Thank
make
you.
me shit my pants every morning. Like I don't need my morning coffee. I just watch your memes and then I'm like like my bowels are moving, you know? And I love your videos, like your the 10 things I hate about you thing when you're reading it wearing the wig. I was just like, oh my God, I can't, this fucking thing.
My
It's
oldest
so
party
good.
trick in the book. Like I've been literally doing the 10 things I hate about you monologue since like college parties. Just I would
It's
just out of
so
nowhere.
good.
I used to do it for auditions in New York for like serious plays. Like I think I did it for a Shakespeare audition one time. And they were just looking at me like, what the fuck?
They don't
Why
get
would
the
you?
reference.
They don't get the reference. And I said, well, I don't want to
Yeah.
work for you then. If you don't get
Julia
the reference,
Stiles.
if you don't get
Yeah,
Julia Stiles, then you don't
she's a
deserve me.
huge Shakespearean kind of actress, you know? All
I mean,
about that shit.
she really was. She was like our generation's like
Fucking
Shakespeare
one.
film
Yeah,
actress.
yes, yes, yes,
Let's
yes. She
name them.
was
Let's name them. I mean, 10 Things I Hate About You is
it's
Taming of the Shrew.
Taming of the Shrew, and she was also in the Macbeth, right? The
Hamlet.
Hamlet. Is
She
that the
might
New
have been
York
in
City
Macbeth too.
with like Bill Murray and shit? Is that
Yes, yes.
she was
She
in
was
that, right?
Ophelia in that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
She
yeah,
sure
yeah,
was. And that was
yeah,
straight up Shakespeare. Like that was like
yeah.
actually
That was
Shakespeare
like
dialogue.
they did the actual dialogue. She was not in Romeo and Juliet though.
But Claire Danes was, and that is
Claire
almost
Danes.
the same
They're
person.
basically the same. You're right.
That's basically the same person. Like similar vibes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wafy white women around the same age. But then also, so I think Romeo and Juliet counts. Also, she was in O, the
Oh
Othello
yeah.
adaptation.
Yeah.
She was like the Shakespeare girl, which is really
Obsessed. She's
shocking.
obsessed with Shakespeare. Man, I
Can't
wonder
get
what she's
enough.
doing, huh? I wonder what she's up to.
She's off somewhere reading to Shakespeare and flicking her bean about it, just loving the Shakespeare nonstop. No, I actually just heard her on Michelle Collins' podcast. A listener, if you don't know Michelle Collins, you gotta. She's so funny.
Okay.
She had Julia Stiles on her podcast, and Julia Stiles was talking like she's just been working like a working actress for the last several years. She was like, yeah, I'm in Amsterdam shooting, and she's talking about some TV show that Grace, no one's ever heard of.
Nobody's seen it.
No one is
Nobody's seen
watching
it.
that show.
No
But
way.
I think it's on its like third or fourth season or something. She's employed. Mama stays employed.
She's getting the paychecks and that's all that's all that matters. You're a working actor and that's all that matters, right?
Truly.
Uh yeah. And you know what? We still talk about her because she was in 10 Things I Hate About You, which is a classic.
One of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. In my life. It's so good. Allison Janney? Come on. As the
She's
guidance counselor?
amazing. She's amazing in that. Yeah,
That
like
movie's
Heath Ledger.
great.
Come on. It was
Oh,
so good.
the two of them have such chemistry in that film.
They
Larissa
do.
Oleynik, Secret World of Alex Mack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on. Iconic.
Um, I was really okay. So during the pandemic, I was like rewatching a lot of like 90s stuff, you know?
Mm.
And one of the things that I rewatched was She's All That.
Okay, that was
That was
bizarre.
crazy.
That
That
was
was
really
fucked up.
crazy.
That
That
was
was really
messed up.
fucked up. That
That
shouldn't have
was
happened. We're
I'm scared.
witches.
I'm
I'm
scared.
scared.
We're
I'm
witches.
scared. I feel Halloween vibes coming through the screen. That was scary. This is the craft. We are joining a coven. Listener, you obviously can't see, but as Grace said, she's all that. I held up my T-shirt that says all
All
that.
that.
Like as you were saying the words all that.
It's like you predicted it. Like how? How did you
Do
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 it?
do 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 do. I mean, well, in fairness, when you said '90s,
Yeah.
this is
I mean,
this
I
is like
loved
the
that show,
such a good
right?
show.
Like Keenan Thompson. I mean, hello.
Queen, true queen.
Yeah. What's
Hell,
her face? Um,
Lori Beth Denberg.
You know them all. Who's the one that lost her mind eventually?
Oh,
Amanda
Amanda
Bynes.
Bynes.
Amanda Bynes was a big all that person, right? Judge
Huge
Trudy.
star.
Judge
I
Trudy.
forgot about Judge
She was so
Trudy.
good at Judge Trudy. Like the
She was
faces she would
great
make.
at Judge. I forgot about Judge Trudy. I always
Oh,
remember Dear Ashley.
dear
Dear
Ash.
Ashley, that's me. There was one that was like, it used to get me together. I still remember like it was yesterday because I used to laugh, laugh, laugh.
Yeah.
These people would ask, call, or write into Ashley. She'd say, Dear Ashley, that's me, and then give them advice. And the whole game was that she was like very chill and smart, but then she would lose her fucking shit at how dumb the questions were. It was a really funny bit. And one time the person was like, Dear Ashley, I like peanut butter on the top of my peanut butter and jelly on the bottom. But my mom keeps making the sandwiches with jelly on the top and peanut butter on the bottom. What should I do? Well, Jessica, why don't you turn the freaking sandwich over? You freaking idiot! What are you, stupid? What are you, dumb? Turn the sandwich over! Gosh! And she couldn't curse, but it was like she was like having like a
She was
freaking,
saying the F word everywhere.
yeah,
Like you could hear it anyhow. It was
you
in
could hear
there.
it anyhow. It was so satisfying.
Oh, so good. Oh my, she was like a genius, honestly, you
She
know?
really was.
She was like a brilliant performer and super hilarious. And, the shit that went down, even that was still hilarious to watch. Like as like harrowing and dark and sad. I was like, if this is a performance, like she has it. Like she's got it. She has my attention. She is amusing me. She's entertaining the world. But it wasn't. Like it was a full-on meltdown,
Yeah.
and
My friend who I played tennis with, he said that he saw her at a UCB show before the breakdown. She like
oh,
came to UCB to like
yeah.
to laugh and see a
Yeah, yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah.
And he said she was so level-headed, normal,
Oh
taking
yeah.
pictures with all of them. She seemed
Yeah.
super lucid. And then like, I mean, who knows what goes on with a person's mental health? It's like probably not great to speculate, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have heard through the grapevine that she was really similar to a Britney Spears situation, like put in
Huh.
some really compromising, horrible positions. And
Yeah.
who knows like what kind of medication was
She was
given to
a
her.
yeah, of course. She was a child actor.
Yeah.
Like child actors are essentially like slaves. There's yeah.
It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't famously go well for most of them.
Oh, never. Like pretty much never. I just finished watching the fourth season of Handmaid's Tale. Do you watch that show?
I sure do. And I'm caught up as well.
Okay, okay. This is a recent phenomenon. I only noticed this about myself last night, okay? While I was driving because I couldn't stop thinking about him. But I'm like obsessed with Nick Blaine. I am in love with Nick Blaine. Like, what is that? Why?
Wait,
Why?
is that
The
Nick,
guy
the officer that she like keeps
that
going
she's
to?
yeah, yeah. I'm like in
I
love
I
with
mean, I
him.
get why. I
You
am too.
understand? What do you
I
think?
think we all I think we all are.
What's it about him?
I think that there are some people in this world who have good energy. Number one, he's
Yeah.
got like good energy. Like
Yes.
he's got calming, welcoming. I don't know. Do you ever see a celebrity and you can tell immediately like that person is cool and
Hmm.
nice, or you just know like that person's a butthole? Like
Oh.
I always knew Leah Michelle was a butthole. You know what I mean? You could
Yeah.
tell. You could
Oh,
like,
she's such a butthole. Ugh.
and there's some people out there who can like, okay, I'm not gonna name names, but there's some people like more in our ether who are like a little famous who play buttholes as their like thing. They're like
Yeah.
always kind of jerks. And I'm
Yeah.
always a little bit like, well, you're really good at that because you like kind of are that. That's part of you. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
That guy seems like he would be lovely to have
Oh,
dinner with.
stable, grounded. Yeah.
And charming face.
Charming as
He's
hell.
got one of
Like
those faces.
it's this ethnically ambiguous look that I'm just like, I don't know what's going on, but I feel safe because I know you're like kind of ethnic, but you're like kind of in between, so you could straddle both worlds and it's all good. He went to Columbia, right? He studied history at Columbia U. His daddy's a screenwriter. His mother is like, that's where he gets his ethnic ambiguity. His Italian father and his mother, like, was is from Hong Kong, and like she has a little bit of like Chinese something in there. So there, it's like it's mixed in there, you know. And so he comes from good like familial pedigree, and he's smart, he's intelligent,
Seems
and
smart.
yeah. Like he studied
Smart
history.
actor. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he thinks, he contextualizes when he gets into character and shit, I guess.
Hmm.
And I love his voice. Like he has a very
Yeah, I
attractive
think that's a big part of it.
voice.
Hmm.
Oh my God. I'm like, ooh, your voice. And
Soothing.
it's soothing, it's
Yeah.
calming. Like, Elizabeth Moss, like on this show, like obviously for, yeah, come on, she's like a traumatized woman. Like she's all like batshit and he just yes ands everything to her. All her mad, insane requests that require him to put his life on the line. He's always like, yeah, I'll
I'll
do
do
it.
it.
I'll do
Yeah.
it. And I'm like, wow, the dedication, the fearlessness, you know?
Yes.
I'm just like, I am so turned on. And like, I was just like, because I didn't care. All 3 seasons, the first 3 seasons, I was like, whatever about him. But season 4, I'm like in love with him. And I think it's also,
Oh,
yeah. I think it's also because he's older now. Like it's been 4 years that he's been doing this show, so he's got like I saw a little bit of the grays coming in, and
you're
his face had
right.
matured, and I'm
Some
like,
wrinkles.
oh, yes, the wrinkles.
You're
It's
right. It's kind of
it's the
hot.
death creeping in on his face that I'm like turned on.
Famously, you are a witch, so it makes sense that you're into like a little bit of death stuff, a little bit of
Yeah,
knowing that he's
yeah.
he's mortal.
It's my
Yeah.
inner goth girl that's all riled up. Yeah. So okay, I'm so glad that we got to talk about that because I was just like last night I was like, I feel like I'm going insane. Like I can't stop thinking about
Wait,
Nick
but I'm
Bling.
shocked that it was this last season that really did it for you because
Yeah.
he okay, I think some people just have a likability. Like we
Hmm.
used to talk about this in theater school all the time,
Yeah.
like type, right? Like your type. He's a likable type of person. Like when he walks into
Yes.
the room, you see him for
Mm-hmm.
that character.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, you are
You're cool.
you're warm. You have like a
Yeah.
warm energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Elizabeth Moss
Oh,
could never be a character like that.
no.
When she walks in the room, you're like, I feel stressed.
Yeah.
And it plays her advantage. I mean, she plays like great. She's phenomenal on that show.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding? Top of the Lake? My God. That fucking woman. Did you see Top of the Lake? The Sundance TV show? That
No.
you should check out Top of the Lake.
Okay.
She
I'm gonna
it's
watch
like
that.
it's like the before Handmaid's Tale, like that mad woman, that insanely stressed out mad woman, like this was like it came before. And what's her face
Ooh.
directs Jane Campion directed that TV show. It's a Sundance TV show that Jane Campion directed. It's called Top of the Lake, and Elizabeth Moss plays the person in it, and she's really amazing.
Could you
Yeah.
be any more artsy right now? I'm so impressed. I'm like, if you ask me I'm watching, I'm like, oh, I'm watching a reality TV show about florists. I don't know, about a floral competition, and you're
It
like
sounds
giving me
awesome.
Sundance TV shows. Actually, it's really good. It's
It
called Full
sounds
Bloom.
great. Are you
I highly
kidding?
recommend. It's great.
Yeah. I actually have a friend who's a clown and a florist. That's his job.
We gotta go. We gotta wrap up there. We shouldn't be doing this with our lives. Come on. Grace, we gotta go back to school. We gotta become lawyers or something. You have a friend that is a clown and a florist?
Yeah,
That's
he
too
lives
much creativity. He should be ashamed of himself. That's not okay.
that's what he is. That's his occupation. He lives upstairs from the flower shop that he works at. Like he's got such a good deal. He lives in Los Feliz, and downstairs is like a florist. What do you call it? Like a floral boutique or whatever. And he works there part time, and the other times he's just a clown. Like that's his work.
Okay, I need to talk to this fellow. I need to talk to this person. Wait, it's not Mia's flower shop, is it? Mia's in Los Feliz, right off Vermont, like by the movie theater.
Yeah, yeah,
Shut
yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck up.
It's like
I
around the corner from where the that French restaurant is. Like,
yes, yeah.
yeah,
Le Petit
that's
Kitchen.
yeah. He works there. He
Okay,
works.
I probably know him then, and I'm so sorry for making fun of you, guy, because I would love to see your clownery. Um, and I do think I maybe know who you're talking about, and if it is, he's one
Is
hot and very lovely.
Is he hot? I find him
This person
adorable.
was hot.
His name's
Every
Van Jasmine is
okay.
his name. And he's
Also,
actually, yeah.
you got to go to that place. I mean, that
Okay.
is one of the most amazing flower shops I've ever been into. They are
Really?
so lovely in there.
Yeah.
The flowers are disgustingly cool. Like so gorgeous, so cool. My boyfriend just got a Broadway show, and so I
Yeah.
got him a bouquet from there, and it was
Oh.
roses that were dyed the color of the rainbow. So
Oh.
each petal was a different. It looked like this shirt, like
Oh my
fluorescent
god.
colors. And I was like, "Oh, do you like paint each petal?" And they were like, "No, you put the stems in colored dye, and it leaks into the way the petal blooms." I was like, "That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life."
And they made it into the most gay bouquet that's ever been created with rainbow
So
petals.
gay,
I love
so
it.
gay.
That's amazing. That's
Mia's
amazing.
flower shop. It's everything.
Okay, yeah, I gotta go there the next time I need to buy flowers. Man, it's crazy that it was your friend's birthday. Like, you went to a birthday party. I have a birthday party to go to right after this thing. Like you and me. She lives in Ventura, and I was
Are you
thinking I should
excited?
bring her flowers. Yeah,
You should go. You should go to Mia's and get her flowers.
I should. I should. And she's gay, so I should bring her a gay ass bouquet of flowers.
Okay, hope they still have those flowers. I don't know if that was like a one time thing, but
It was a one time thing just for you and your boyfriend, I'm sure. Yeah.
yeah, that could be.
After that, they were like, "We're never gonna do this ever again." They're like, "We know how, but this is only for Tim and Tim's boyfriend. We're never, yeah,
We know how. But we're not going
we're
to.
not gonna do it."
We're
Yeah.
not going to do it. Are you excited about this birthday, or are you like,
I mean, like, I love her. She's a comic as well. Her name's Suan Weaver, and I love her, but she lives in fucking Ventura. That's the only issue. It's a
I don't
far
love
ass.
anybody that much? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
It's a lot
far.
of love. It's a
I
lot of
don't.
fucking
I
love.
don't like birthday parties.
Yeah,
If we're friends, honey, I
yeah.
will take you to a drink, just you and me. You
Mm-hmm.
you and me, we can hang out, we can watch a movie, we'll go
I
get a drink
understand.
another day.
I understand.
Birthday parties, I like my birthday parties, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
I'm not trying to go make friends with new people
Right.
in this like awkward stilted situation where like there's so many of
I
us.
get it.
I don't like that.
I get it. Because, it's like we have different kinds of friends, right? Like, I'm one individual, but I have like a series of groups of friends, and they have a type, they have a certain dynamic, like, they fall into certain categories. And if you bring them all together in one room, they don't mesh, right?
Right. No, they really don't. And it's
Yeah.
awkward for them. And you have such a history with all of these people. So you feel
Right.
really comfortable,
Uh
but
huh.
I always feel how awkward everybody else feels.
Yeah. But do you have like that one friend whose friends like you just hate all of them? Do you have like a friend like that? Because I have a friend like that. Like every single friend I've met of hers, I'm like, I hate this person.
Whoa, that's such a good question.
Yeah.
Um,
Or like a
yeah,
friend who keeps dating hateful people.
that I have. Yes.
Yeah.
I
What do
have
you
like,
do? What are you supposed to do when they're like that?
unfortunately, that's the end of that relationship. You
Right?
gotta, I mean, you can't be friends with somebody and not like their partner, especially if
Right.
it's like their permanent partner, like they're going to be with them forever. You think, or if it's been
Yeah.
more than a couple of years, like, honey,
No.
it's very rare that you're going to get to hang out with that person without at least their person being brought up. And if you want to have like real trust and real companionship with somebody, you got to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. But you don't need to be telling them that you don't like their friend, so or they don't
Right.
like their partner. So
Right.
I think you just got to kind of make new friends. Unfortunately,
Right.
my mom, she won't listen to this. It's fine. I think my mom has a lot of friends, like a lot of fun girlfriends who are
Yeah.
married to duds,
Ooh.
and I can't with that. I
Yeah.
like, and then my dad, who's cool and fun, gets dragged along to these like couples dinners, and he's
Right.
like, "I got stuck talking to the guy the whole time, and he's a fucking dud." And I'm like, "Yeah, that won't be happening for me. I will not be. I will not. I can't have that be my life."
Your dad should microdose on mushrooms before he goes to these couples dinners. That might be fun for him.
Funny that you say that. When they came to LA, they did do marijuana.
Ooh.
Marijuana.
For the first time?
No, they were like
Okay.
stoners in they were like hippies in the
Oh,
70s.
good. Yeah.
But like
So,
for the first time
reliving
in a
it.
long
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. for
How do
many
they like
years,
it?
probably. They liked it a lot. My dad like loves it. My mom's
Yeah.
not. My mom likes it. She's not so sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
my dad
All right.
loves it. Loves,
That's
loves, loves.
cool. Like, was
Yeah,
it like fun, like, smoking pot with them and hanging out? Like, what was that?
it was so fun. It was
Yeah.
so fun. They're big time drinkers,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Well,
it was
Ohio, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was really fun to do something a little more mellow and see them laugh a little bit rather
Uh-huh.
than like corner me and talk my ear off without caring if I'm listening, like how drunk people do.
Isn't that annoying? It's part of the reason why I stopped drink. That's one thing. I quit drinking during the pandemic.
Good for
I was like,
you.
yeah, I was drinking a lot of wine during the pandemic, like every 2 weeks. It was like a bi-weekly thing. Bi-weekly, I would go to Ralph's and buy 6 bottles of wine because you get 30% off. I'm like, of course.
Hell yeah.
And like, there were some nights when I would be just fucked up and I'm by myself and I'm like, accidentally knocking my wine glass over and breaking it. And I'm like, fuck, this is pathetic. I'm a loser, Like, this is stupid. So I just had to stop. I had to cut this shit out. I remember it was December. It was around Christmas, and I was just like, "This is my last bottle of wine. Like, I'm done after this." And
Whoa, dude. Grace,
yeah,
that's really impressive. Like,
thanks.
that's
Yeah,
really like, that is a lot of self control and a lot of self awareness to be able to be like, I'm done
maybe.
here.
I'm
For
not sure if it's
sure.
self-control because I'm not very good with self-control. I'm not. But I think it's self-awareness. I'm glad you mentioned that because it was more like I I'm not good with self-control, so I want to have more self-control. And one way of having it is by not being inebriated.
Hmm.
And I could do that. So it's like the self-awareness sort of penetrated through, and I was able to find some self-control in the matter.
Oh, that's a good way
Yeah.
to put it. That's
Yeah,
a good way to
because
put it.
it's not like I'm like craving it all the time. It's not like I need wine, I need wine. If I'm thinking about it, I'm like I need it, I want it all the time. Then there's no fucking way I would give that shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like why would
Right.
I? It more had to do with this internal logic that I was just like this isn't serving me anymore. It's a big waste of water. I have to give it up. And that's when I stopped.
That's a good way to put it. And I feel like addiction is rarely about like I feel like there's so much stigma around the word
Mhm.
addiction of like
Mhm.
can you say addiction? We
Mhm.
all are addicted to so
Yes.
many things.
Exactly.
And addiction, I feel like so often we think of it that way of like, oh, I couldn't say no, or I couldn't turn it down, or I was craving it all the time, I was
Uh-huh.
tempted by it all the time.
Right.
But I don't think it's really about that as much as it's just about, yeah, self control, about not being able to control when it is in front of
Mhm.
you,
Mhm.
when it
Mhm.
is there, and just trying to numb stuff.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah,
distraction.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that you actually want it because I'm
No.
I'm for years have dealt with food stuff in that way, and I'm currently in a place where I'm like, why if I buy Oreos, honey, the whole bag is gone.
God.
It is
God.
gone. I will put
Yeah.
it in my cupboard. I'll put it away. I'll go sit down on the couch and be like,
No.
all right, I would have to
That's
get up
all
and
you'll
go
be
to the
thinking
cupboard to
about.
get it, but I
Mhm.
get up and I get
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
because. But if it wasn't in my house, I wouldn't have it. It's not that I actually want it. I just want
Yeah.
something to do. I want something to eat to
It's a
take my mind
distraction.
as a distraction.
It's
Yeah.
100% a distraction. But I got better with that too. I used to be that buy Oreos and I would obsessively think about it and yeah, it would be gone like instantly. But uh now like I buy like cookies and chocolate and ice cream like when I go grocery shopping. In the past I never did, but I'll stock up and they're still there. Like they're in my cabinets. And I don't know what it is. Like I'm getting better with it.
Good for
Yeah.
you.
Are there certain vices that you had that you gave up, like cigarettes or anything like that?
I mean, how deep do we want to go on this podcast?
Whatever you're
I'm,
comfortable with. Yeah.
yeah, I'll just be honest. But everyone in my family is like super. It's always been apparent to me that alcohol has been like their huge
Mm-hmm.
vice.
Yeah.
So that comes and goes for me, but not really. I'm so aware of it that drugs and
Mm-hmm.
like physical vices like that have never really been my
Mm-hmm.
thing. Sex
Mm-hmm.
has always been my vice.
Mm.
Like that's the
Sex is a
thing
big addiction for
that I
some
numb
people.
with. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a good distraction. It's like one of the best.
majorly, majorly.
So good. So good. Yeah.
I mean,
Man,
it's like a really, when you're feeling out of control, it's like this is fucked up, but it's like a good way to feel really like in your body,
exactly.
you know,
Exactly. It's
grounded.
physical, it's grounding, it's physical, it's meditative. You're breathing, in a more
Hmm.
regulated way. It's
Hmm.
actually very meditative, I think.
Yeah.
Cooking is.
And
Yeah.
a lot of times you're convincing yourself you're connecting with somebody. You're probably not. A lot, if you're me, you're probably not. But like, yeah, it's like, it's really. So I've actually been getting better about that lately, about not engaging, like not on any apps or anything anymore, which is
Oh, that's
very nice. Because the
awesome.
apps are such, I mean, talk about addiction.
Right.
The apps, man. Like I could just, not even looking for actual sex, just looking for validation, like
Yeah.
just flicking through those apps like they're a video game. Like
Yeah.
more people, more people, more people.
It's gamified. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's gamified, and so it's also more dehumanizing, because we're people. I mean, it's just to me, like I don't do it. I don't do the apps. I
Good for
tried
you.
it years ago, and I was just like, this is so dehumanizing. I can't do it. So I just stopped. In fact, I gave up a lot of things. I gave up cigarettes like a bunch of years ago. I gave up coffee a bunch of years ago. Gave up alcohol a
What?
year ago. I gave up sex and love like a couple years ago. 2 years ago, I was just like, I'm done with sex. I'm done with love. Yeah. I'm not like restrictive to it. I'm not like no fucking, no no love, no intimacy. I'm not like that, but it's more like if somebody doesn't approach me seriously and honestly and sincerely, and if I just sense any kind of bullshit, I'm immediately like my brain immediately cuts it out. I'm like, yeah, not interested. I don't humor it at all. And
Wow.
I think that's why it's gotten easier for me to like give up alcohol. Because I used to think that I could never give up alcohol. I had a drink every single day, like since I was like 19, literally every single day since I was 19. That's like a long time.
Yeah.
And I never thought I could stop alcohol because I loved drinking. And you're mentioning alcoholism in your family. I have it on my dad's side of the family too. And but in December, I was just like, it's not serving me, so goodbye to this. Yeah.
That is so impressive. So you have so many vices that you've just been able to like clear away.
But there's no end to it, man. Like I'm
Yeah.
still addicted to television. Hello,
Mhm.
season 4 of Handmaid's Tale. Watch that in like 3 days. You know, like I'm addicted to my phone. I'm There are a lot of things I'm still addicted to. Uh, but it's just I just have to figure out like, is this serving me or not? If it's serving me, then I'm like, okay, fine. It's only a problem once, I'm like, oh, this is a huge problem. Like it's like interfering with my life and my ability to live. Then it's a problem. But right now,
Right.
it's not at that point, not yet.
Because
So,
you're right. If you have an addictive tendency or an addictive personality, that's
mhm,
always going to be there, right?
mhm, mhm.
So I think that's a really good way to put it. Like it's all about finding the things that you can be addicted to in a healthy way that are serving you. Like honestly,
Yes.
not for nothing, I'm addicted to tennis now. Like
Yeah.
I've replaced a lot of those other bad habits
Mm,
with something that is actually connecting with a friend,
yeah.
actually exercise, which is
Yeah.
helpful
And that
and is
releases the
like,
endorphins.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
beautiful. I love what you just said. That was like so well said. I love that.
yeah, it's
Did you
true.
start out as a stand-up or as a sketch or as an improv comic or
I
just a
started out
theater person?
as a theater person. Yeah, I
Got
started
it.
out. I mean, I have been right. I felt funny ever since I was like a little kid and
Yeah.
loved comedy. Like I
Mm-hmm.
wrote my first stand up set when I was in fourth grade for like a talent
Mm.
show
Oh.
and did it then. And then I did it again when I was like 15. And then I
Mm.
always had like a little book of jokes with me. And I kind
Oh,
of
that's
always knew that
cute.
I would do stand up.
Yeah.
And then when I was 19, someone broke into my car and took my computer that was in my backpack and my book of jokes that I've been carrying around with me for like 4 or 5 years.
Oh my God.
Like hundreds of terrible, terrible jokes. Um,
But still,
but it was crushing. It was
yeah,
like, oh, I can never.
it's so
If someone could
violating.
just take everything that I've worked at,
Yeah.
that I've
Your whole
accumulated for so long,
life. Yeah.
yeah, it was horrible. It was really horrible. It was like really
It's devastating.
devastating. Yeah, and so I was like, I think I just kind of like couldn't bring myself to do it. anymore
Mm.
after
It was
that.
traumatic.
It was so traumatic. And I just love theater. Like that's like my like happy place of like if I'm in the car and I want to feel really good, I'll turn on like a good musical theater song.
Yeah.
When
Oh my god. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
You're
just
so
like
gay. I love it.
I'm
You're
so
such a
gay.
queen. It's so
I'm such a
amazing.
queen.
Okay.
And you know, I think what you just said is a huge part of it. I didn't feel like there was a place for me in comedy when I was
Mm.
19. I'm such a queen. Like there was
Yeah,
no
I see.
I mean, Wanda Sykes was like still in the closet.
Right.
Ellen was coming out of the closet, and then everybody was like, "Fuck you!
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's cancel your show." Like there
Yeah.
was, and those are women,
Yeah. Yeah.
like a gay femme guy,
Yeah.
like
John
I
Travolta in the closet, you
in the
know.
claws, honey. You know, and as far as stand up went, like that world just seemed sad and dark and straight to me,
And very, very mask. Yeah.
very
Mhm.
mask.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
like I'm a white man and there was a lot of that. So like of you know, you'd think I would feel comfortable in that way, but I just wasn't inspired by anything that anybody
Yeah.
was doing. Like it, comedy made me laugh and like I love Norm Macdonald, may he
Mhm.
rest, and like
Mhm.
I would really really laugh listening to his stuff, but that
Yeah.
wouldn't be my like I want to feel good, I'm going to put on a Norm's album. I'd be like I want to feel good, I want to put on Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
And so that
Yeah.
kind of was like a no-brainer for me that I was like I need to go do theater.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And then
Yeah.
theater kind of ran its course for me and I was like I don't, and I lost the passion and the love for that.
Hmm.
And while I was doing theater I was always making videos, always writing like sketch
Mhm.
videos.
Mhm.
And then I got into like the UCB improv scene in New York and
Mhm.
I loved that. And then when I
Mhm.
moved to LA, a manager was like you need to be doing stand up, like a big
Mm.
time, like one of like the big management companies out here. Like
Yeah.
I was very lucky to have a meeting with them, and she was like,
Yeah.
didn't sign me, but was like, I'm going to keep on you. And she does still, in fairness, she does still keep in contact with me, and she's been like a
Yeah.
wonderful supporter of mine, which is
Yeah.
so. You know, I respect that so much that she's like, you
Yeah.
know, she didn't say no, I'm not going to sign you. She just was like, I want you to keep doing stand up and like keep on my radar, and I'll keep on your
Yes.
radar.
That's still big. That's still a
Yeah.
lot.
And the
But
fact that she like believed enough in me to be like, I'm a huge comedy person
mhm.
that manages huge comedy people, and I think you
Yeah.
should go do this. Was I was like, okay. And then
Yeah.
I started doing stand up when I was like 30.
And she was like kind of recalling your love for the I mean, that was kind of like your original love, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
4 years old, 15 years old, 19 years old. Like it's like and you had this break from it because of a terrible incident, but she gave you this push. The universe gave you a push to come back to your love, reconquer your anxiety about it, and go and do it because you're a naturally funny guy. And I love how you were sort of navigating these entertainment sectors just based on like what felt really good to you. That's what I love about this story you just told me is like, it was stand-up that made you feel good, but then, like after that incident, you were more drawn to theater and that was like fun and made you feel good. And like you always let this good feeling be your navigational guide. And I think that's amazing.
Thanks. Yeah. I think success wise, it's been really bad. It's been really detrimental. It's sort of like jack of all trades, master of none, you know,
Wow.
like if I really want to be a great stand up, I need to get out there more, especially
Hmm.
now that we're getting, there's more shows happening now that the pandemic's dwindling a
Yeah.
little bit. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think like personally and creatively, I have like creative ADHD and
Hmm.
I get really excited about different things and I want to
Yes.
follow what's exciting to me. So I
Yeah.
think personally, like I'll look back on my life on my deathbed and be like, damn, yeah, I really got to do a lot of different things and that's
Yeah.
really cool.
It is.
Yeah.
And ultimately, like they get segmented into different things, but they're actually the same. Are they not?
No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
And like Steve Martin's book, his book Born Standing Up, he like talked a little bit
Such a
about it,
good
which I thought
book.
was it's such a good book.
Yeah.
And there was like a section in there that was like, you know, I used to beat myself up about trying to be a magician for several
Yeah.
years, but
Yeah.
then like I did magic in the Three Musketeers movie, and I realized like, oh, everything I've ever done
Everything.
is
Everything.
helpful. Anything
Yes.
you're learning about, like even tennis, like who fucking,
Mhm.
like, yes, I'm doing it for the joy and you're doing it for the
Mhm.
joy, but like who
Mhm.
knows if somebody's gonna approach us with an audition for a movie where they need people who actually know how to
Yeah,
play.
it's gonna be called US Open, and it's gonna star you and me, all
And
right?
you, yeah,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. I'll be playing Layla Fernandez. You'll be playing, I don't know, some dude,
Serena
and
Williams, it'll be
Serena.
really problematic. It'll be really problematic, and I'll be like, I don't think I can take this role. I think this would be fucked up. But people will be like, it's they're gonna pay you $10 million for
We
you
have
to
to
play
do it.
Serena.
We gotta do it. Are you kidding? Oh my God, that's so
That would be a
good.
real dilemma. That would be a real dilemma.
You'd be a great Serena. Just
Thank you so much. Have you ever seen the speaking of ADHD, have you ever seen her architectural digest video about her house?
no, 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 no. Oh, I
It
want to see her
is
house.
some of the I watch a lot of those videos because I think houses are fun. And
Yeah.
a lot of those houses are like Naomi Campbell has like probably the best one. She takes you to her house in Kenya and it's like acres upon
Oh
acres
my
of
gosh.
house of like pools. There's like several pools. A lot of those rich people have like really amazing houses, and Serena
Yeah,
Williams' house is one of the most insane houses I've ever seen.
I'll bet.
It makes literally no sense. Instead of a living room, her foyer is an art gallery with like the dumbest looking art you've ever seen. She takes you into her trophy room and she's like,
Oh,
these are all my master wins. And
yeah.
then I don't keep any second place wins in here because fuck that, basically.
Fuck that shit. Yeah. Good for Serena. You know,
I know.
this is okay. I was lucky enough to go and see the US Open this year and I had a
Mm-mm.
fucking blast. Yeah, yeah. I went to New York a few weeks ago solely to go and see US Open. Yeah, I did a couple shows,
Wow.
but I went there mainly to see tennis. Watch tennis. Okay. While I was like on the 7 train going to US Open, I was just curious. I was like, who has the most number of Grand Slams? I didn't say what gender. I said who, right?
Yeah.
And Roger Federer comes up,
Hmm.
but he has 21. Serena Williams has 23. Okay? So I was like, why did Google only show me Roger Federer and leave out the women's like I was like I asked who has the most number of Grand Slams in the world, who as a person, and it should have been Serena Williams, but fucking Google was, sexist in that moment
Google's
and
racist, sexist ass. It's the system, like you're saying, it's the parks charging us the money. It's the racist and sexist system in here.
when's it gonna stop? When's it gonna
That
end?
is fucked up.
But now we're here to declare the truth. Serena Williams is the person with the most number of Grand Slam titles in the world. It's not
Hell
it's
yeah.
not Roger. All right.
It's
All right.
Serena.
It's
Don't get it
Serena
don't get it
all the way.
twisted.
Don't get it fucking twisted. Okay, I'm gonna ask you some flashcard questions based on a Netflix Korean drama called Navillera, and you just answer it based on what you would do in that moment if you were this person. Okay.
Okay.
Um. So let's say you're a man in his 70s. You're a retired postal worker, okay? You have 3 children. You have a
Hmm.
son who works as a banker, a daughter who is married to a local politician, and another son, the youngest, who used to be a surgeon, but he recently quit his job. It's your birthday, and everyone's
Hmm.
gathered at the table to celebrate your birthday, but your 3 children start fighting and screaming at the table over money. What do you do?
I laugh like this. I go, typical. Typical, you selfish, selfish little shits. I gave up everything for you so that you could have a beautiful life. The three of you have incredible access to politics, to banks, to hospitals, but you gave that up, didn't you? Why? Cause why? So you could go become a clown slash florist? Please get a grip. Stop fighting. Take this up in therapy and realize that I used to have to walk 10 miles in the snow with tennis rackets on my feet instead of shoes because that's how my generation had to deal with the ever heard of the Great Depression? Oh, you have depression? We had a Great Depression. So get a fucking grip. Order your escargot and you're spaghetti with meatballs because, yeah, spaghetti with meatballs because to me, you'll always be little fucking kids, little pukes. Now give me my presents and shut the fuck up. That's what I would say.
Oh my god. You should play the father in Succession. Like, I don't know why. Like, yeah.
Do you watch that show?
Yeah.
So I have to watch it, I guess. I've
It
watched the
is
first episode and it was so white and straight and boring.
it is, but it is so funny. I'm telling you,
Okay.
it is like it's epic comedy. You have to watch it as epic comedy, then
Okay.
it's fucking amusing as hell. Um okay, I love that answer. But yeah, you would make an amazing Logan Roy, just saying. Okay. Um all right, so you're the same old man, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
You're walking by a dance studio and you see a young man in his 20s, this really like fit, beautiful young man performing ballet. And you've never seen anything so beautiful in your life. And the young man sees you looking at him and he gives you the stink eye. What do you do?
I open the door and I say, it's a weird way to look at somebody that you're trying to fuck. And then I pull my dick out and I say, into it? Into it? That's what I do.
Okay, so you essentially me too this young man.
Absolutely. I'm 70. It's kind of my whole thing.
Anything goes. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, it's
Oh my
I'm
god.
very problematic, but everyone in their 70s is.
Okay, good. All right. So let's say you're the young man now, okay? You're that young man that this old man was eyeing. You're a young man in his early 20s. Your name is Cherok. Your mother is dead. Your father is in prison for practicing corporal punishment while being a soccer coach. And you live by yourself. You work a bunch of part-time jobs and you train as a serious ballerino. Like that is your thing. And you're very talented, all right? Your ballet coach tells you that you need to start teaching ballet to this old man in his 70s, Mr. Shim. What do you do?
Hmm. I say, Mr. Shim, let me see what you got. Put on the wagon wheel of Watusi. 5, 6, 7, 8. And I just check out what I'm working with initially. And if I think I can mold him into being an old man star,
Uh-huh.
then I go for it. I say, yes, let me do this.
Wow.
If I don't think he has what it takes,
Yeah.
I take out a long cigarette. I light it. I say, you only have a few years left on this earth. Don't waste it here in the studio with me. Get another hobby. And then I drop into the splits.
Okay. All right. So you're like a Devil Wears Prada kind of person. You know what's crazy is that's pretty much exactly what Cherok does in the show. He just minus the cigarette part. But yeah, he basically tells the old man like, if you can do this one move, then I will train you. But if you can't, go
Shut
fuck off.
up.
That's exactly what
That
happens.
is like kind of storytelling 101, I guess. It's very much like, let's see what we're working with and let's up the stakes by being like, you have one. It's like Julia Stiles in Save the Last Dance.
Yes.
She's
Yeah.
got to nail that dance.
Got to do it. Yeah. You know, in that dance when she's doing the dance, right? Like in the end, it's like the big finale, right? Okay, tell me, were you weirded out when she was pointing her fingers in the dance moves?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
The
Thank you.
whole dance is like truly some of the worst. She has a dance body double, but every time they cut to her, it's like
So bad.
shocking. It's so shocking.
So bad.
It's some of the worst dancing you'll ever see
I was
on
like,
film.
how did they put this in the final cut? It was astounding.
And the whole thing is that she's like good at hip hop. It's so funny.
Oh my god.
It's
Oh my
so
god.
bad.
So bad. Oh, thank God. Thank you for confirming that because it just haunted me for years, like years and years and
I'm
years.
envisioning it in my head right now, and it's
Oh,
really
I was like, stop
making me laugh.
pointing your fingers, Julia. Like it was too much. I couldn't take it. I
She
couldn't
sits
take it.
down in the chair like this, and her hands, her like
Oh,
creepy witch hands.
I know. Oh,
Girl.
if she
No.
wore boxing gloves, it would have been cooler. It would have been this like experimental
Ooh.
thing. It would have been cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah,
That'd
yeah.
be good. That'd be good.
Yeah, I want to be her manager just so I could tell her, like, you should wear boxing gloves in every single role you ever take on from here on out, like till the day you die. Like that's your gimmick,
That's your
you
thing.
know? Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
your thing, baby.
Okay.
Oh,
Awesome. Awesome. I'm loving these answers. Okay. Are you still okay on time? Or
yeah,
like
I'm good.
okay. All right. So you're the old man, Mr. Shim again, okay? You love ballet, all right? You love it. Like when you were a little boy, you wanted to become a ballerino. That was actually your dream. And you saw people dancing in this dance studio and you were so moved by their dance. But your father saw you looking at it and he beat the shit out of you. And he told you, if you ever set eyes on that kind of thing again, he'll fucking fuck your shit up, okay? And now you're older and you're about to die any day and you're finally pursuing your dreams and learning ballet. And your wife and three children find out what you're doing and they beg you to stop because they think it's so fucking weird. What do you do?
I do stop. I give it up for my wife and my child. And the crippling sadness from having to give up something so beautiful forces me into a life of sex addiction. And I start going to prostitutes and male prostitutes and asking them to speak to me like they're my father. And I jerk off while they hit me with a bunch of rulers and say ballet is stupid, and then they do the speech from Sister Act 2 that the mom does when she comes into Lauren Hill, and she's like, but they change the words to ballet, so they say with every thwack they say ballet will never put food on the table. Oh no, is singing? Wait, what is it? Singing is not. Oh shit! Oh man, I really.
Singing
You know it,
singing
right,
does
Grace?
not put food on the table. That is in there. Singing
Singing
w-
is
uh,
dancing does not put food on the table. Dancing is no guarantee to a future. Dancing. Oh shit! There's
you're
a
gonna
third.
end up on the streets like your father, singing his shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and it was like a very elegant
Ooh,
and
it's really
very
good. That movie's
heart-wrenching
really good.
speech.
Yeah,
I
but that's what
love
happens.
Sister
Yeah.
Act. Oh my God,
Oh my
so good.
god, so good.
So good. You know what I noticed? This is just a theory I have. I think School of Rock is a remake of Sister Act.
Whoa! It
Yeah,
totally is.
it totally
Whoa!
is. Yeah,
It totally is.
just whitewashed and with children. That's all. That's the only difference. Yeah,
You're so right.
but they're in private schools. Like there's
Fish
a
out of
person
water, having to teach.
impersonating
Yeah,
something that he and she
they
they are not. It's like
not just something, literally the exact same thing a choir
it's
teacher
it's it's identical.
is the
Yeah.
same thing.
And what I also noticed is like Sister Act is kind of an emulation of Sound of Music.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, blowing my
Hmm.
mind. You're so right. You're so
Okay.
right.
All right. All right. I'm loving these answers. Okay. All right. All right. So you're the old man again, Mr. Shim. Okay. Your wife sits you down. And she says she feels shame for having raised her children in such a poor environment. And she doesn't want you to do anything that might embarrass your kids. So you tell your wife what you said. You tell your wife that you'll quit ballet. All right.
Hmm.
But one day, your oldest son, Sungsan, he comes to your house and he catches you wearing your ballet tights and he flips the shit. He flips out and he starts screaming at you. He's telling you how much he hated having to worry about the family's finances since he was a little boy and how ashamed he is of you for having such a weird ass hobby. And he shames you for having been such a poor man all your life and shames you for taking on ballet. What do you do?
I laugh again in his face. I go, ha 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 ha. You think you can talk to me like that? You think you've had a hard life? Do you hear that? Oh, baby, that's the wambulance coming. Because, oh, you're so sad. You've had such a hard life. Oh, you grew up poor. My dad used to beat me about ballet. Try being a straight guy that wants to do ballet. Oh, you don't have any money? Everybody doesn't have money. Only the 1% are rich. Give me a fucking break. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. And you know what? Get out of my house. You're kicked out. And that's what I would
Goodbye
say.
forever. All right,
Goodbye
good.
forever.
Yeah. Fucking ingrate, right? Ugh. All right.
Ingrate.
Mm, children. What the fuck is wrong with them?
Children.
Fucking
Children are
kids.
bad.
Blame
Children are
parents
bad.
for everything. They suck.
Get a grip. Go to therapy. Get a grip, literally.
Okay, 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 okay. We have three more. I'm loving your answers though. Okay, you're Cherok again. You're the young man. You have a very important audition coming up. It is like a huge deal. Okay, if you land this gig, it changes your career. It changes your life. All right, but you have a bully named Hobam. Okay, that bully pushes you down a flight of stairs and you injure your ankle. Your audition is in 1 week. What do you do?
I stay home. I cry. I feel through the pain. I don't turn to opioids or anything.
Mm,
I don't try to numb the pain.
yeah.
And then I start jerking off thinking about the bully pushing me down the stairs. And I become a cam girl and I make a lot of money from that. And I don't need ballet anymore.
Good. Good. Oh my god, I love they have an answer for everything. Like,
Mhm.
why is anybody ever worried about anything when Tim Murray has all the fucking answers? Hello.
Call me up. Call me up.
Call Tim.
I'll help you. I'll tell you
Tim
what to
will
do.
help you. Tim will fucking help you. Turn off Oprah. Tim has the answers. For the love of God, save your money on therapy. Call Tim. Okay, good. Awesome. All right. So you're Cherok again. You're that young man. Your student, Mr. Shim, who is passionate about ballet. All right. He is showing, he's showing signs of dementia. All right. You find out that he has full-blown Alzheimer's disease. Okay.
Mhm.
But Mr. Shim doesn't want to tell anyone in his family about it because he's just not ready to break the news. Meanwhile, Mr. Shim keeps getting lost in the streets. What do you do?
I sit Mr. Shim down. I say, babe, we're going to watch something that's going to help you. I put in a DVD of Deep Blue Sea, the Samuel L. Jackson movie about
The
how they're
shark movie.
studying sharks to cure Alzheimer's. Sharks' brains, apparently, in this movie have the cure to Alzheimer's. And I say, this is what's going to help you. We need to get out to sea with LL Cool J and Samuel L. Jackson immediately. And we need to start studying sharks, and all your problems will be solved. That's it, really.
Oh my god, that's so good. Do you remember the end of that film? The female protagonist who we've been following the whole time, like she like cuts her hand and uses herself
Oh,
as bait
yeah.
to save the I was just like, "What?"
Oh, yeah.
Like
And she dies, right?
she dies. She ends up like a shark comes in, like fucking eats her, and it's over. And I was like, we were invested in her. We were following her the whole movie, and what, you're gonna just fucking kill this bitch?
That was fucked. That movie is fucked up.
So good though. I mean,
It's
I was
so good.
fully
I would
entertained
rewatch that right now.
in a
That movie is
heartbeat.
so. Samuel L. Jackson giving that speech, and then the
That
shark. Just,
monologue about the ice. Mwah.
one of the best moments ever in a movie. That is like really. I was remember watching that as a kid and being like, my jaw was on the floor. I could not believe it.
Oh my god. We need to have you back on. We have to talk more about movies because it's just like
Let's do a
nonstop.
whole episode on Deep Blue Sea.
Just Deep Blue Sea only. We just textual analysis of Deep Blue Sea. Okay, okay, okay. All
Yes.
right, final question. These are great. All right, final question. You're Cherok again. You're the young man. Your father, who was in prison for a few years because he was beating up his soccer students when he was a coach, he finally gets out. Okay, so you go to the
Okay.
prison to greet him on the day of his release, but when you get there, the guards tell you that your father already left hours ago. What do you do?
I say, is it before 11 a.m.? Because I'm going to get myself a McDonald's breakfast. Fuck this. Fuck this. I'm going to turn this day around. I'm going to make this good for myself. I get a McDonald's breakfast. I call up a friend. We go play a round of tennis. Tennis is great. I go home.
Yeah.
I get the prostitute to come back over and say, but this time instead of beating me and saying mean things, I just ask them to get closer to me. And then every time they get close to me, they run away like my dad. That's it, really.
Very good. Very good. Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
should have written and starred in this show.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
seriously.
it's a much better show. What are they thinking? What is Netflix thinking? Fucking hiring a bunch of Koreans to write a feature and star in this? No, it should have been Tim. Yeah.
Hire a white man for once. Netflix for once.
All right, thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Grace.